Proof YNW Melly is guilty. Leaked info. YNW Melly has been locked behind bars for over 3 years now, and after fighting this unique case long and hard, things aren't beginning to look any better for YNW Melly. Melly and his legal team have literally done everything in the books to keep YNW Melly from being proven guilty. If Melly was to ever be proven guilty, he would most likely be looking at facing up to life in prison or even a life penalty, depending on the judge's decision. Either way, up until now, YNW Melly and his legal team have done a good job at fighting this case. But after the new evidence revealed on YNW Melly's case, it's starting to look like things are beginning to go downhill for him. YNW Melly was a huge part of the music industry and definitely made his mark on many people. But now that things are starting to go downhill, YNW Melly and his team are facing some tough troubles. It's obviously been a very interesting and hard case to fight for Melly's team. With so much evidence being stacked up against Melly, it's been nearly impossible to keep him in the clear. But ever since this new news was released about YNW Melly's case, it's sad to say, but Melly's career is very likely to be over forever. A lot of people are wondering how this happened and what makes law enforcement believe YNW Melly is guilty. Well, there's a lot that's gone into this case and a bunch of new info to get into today. If any of you recall, YNW Melly got locked up with his friend YNW Bortland for the passing of their two friends. Melly and Bortland are being charged with the same charges and have been keeping it real about the things they say. But after a long 3 years of fighting this case, and little hope of either of them getting released, YNW Bortland decided to speak up, which resulted in things not looking very good at all for the one and only YNW Melly. YNW Melly's legal team is doing everything they can to protect their client, but there's only so much they can do, especially with a guy like YNW Bortland switching sides on them. YNW Bortland's actions may result in the rap game losing YNW Melly forever, and it's only a matter of time before we find out exactly what's going to happen to Melly. This case was already super interesting as it was, but now things have taken a drastic turn and YNW Melly is in a really bad position. I wonder what Melly is going through in his cell as we speak. He's probably super stressed out and thinking about his whole life falling apart right in front of him. This is definitely the hardest moment in YNW Melly's life. At only 23 years old, YNW Melly is looking at possibly facing a life sentence in prison or even a life penalty. Things are getting tragic in the YNW world, and there's a lot to get into and discuss about the new evidence stacked up against YNW Melly. Today we'll be talking about the latest updates on YNW Melly's case. There's a lot to get into, so be sure to stick around and watch this video until the end as we get into things one detail at a time. Trust me when I say you won't want to miss a thing. Thanks for stopping by and visiting us at Line Report. We post daily celebrity updates and news that you really should know about if you're a fan. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel, leave a like, and comment keyword YNW Melly to enter a chance at winning our brand new iPhone giveaway. Now, let's take a closer look at YNW Melly proved guilty. YNW Melly's life has been very interesting lately. As we all know, YNW Melly was introduced to fame at 19 years old and handled it fantastically. Becoming one of the most streamed artists at a very beginning of his career was shocking to many people, which resulted in many great artists wanting to collab with Melly, such as Kanye West and Cole Bennett. These three made a masterpiece music video and song for their hit track Mixed Personalities, mostly inspired by YNW Melly and his different personalities. Melly has always been unique to everyone, but after revealing his different personalities to the world, Melly came off as a weird, scary dude to most people. Only months after experiencing the heights of his career, Melly and his old friend YNW Bortland were both locked up for the passing of their two friends. Melly and Bortland claimed they were involved in a drive-by and were lucky to survive themselves. But after law enforcement investigated deeper into this case, it began to look like YNW Melly and Bortland set up their two friends and made it look like a drive-by. A bunch of evidence was stacked up against these two, reasoning on why they're guilty for the passing of their two friends. But there was never enough evidence to prove that they were actually guilty. Not until Melly's old friend YNW Bortland decided to crack and speak more deeply about what happened that day.